Alrighty, let's see. Looks like the mic's working. It seems to be doing the good old visualizing jump back and forth. That's good. Oh, you got a good stretch. You folks are missing out on it. Oh, that's a good stretch. Ah, oh, all right. That was a good stretch. Good morning, folks. I'm Cody with IronVerse Comics. And two subjects today on Coffee, Cody, and Comics. Remembered the name today. Yeah, look at that. One is comic creator drama, which, everybody's got to talk about once in a while, apparently. Um, if it kicks up in your neck of the woods, sometimes it's also nice just to put your thoughts down. Very few folks watch these, so I don't really expect. I'm not putting fuel on the fire. Um, but I've been in the networking loop of indie comics for a good chunk of time, and I have some general things to say about uh, quote unquote drama and networking in general. And then two, um, so I want to get back into the what you're reading streams. I really do. Um, what I need to do is go back to what you're reading. I want to say 14, I think was the last one, and just double check what at that point was the last thing I've been reading. So I have a barometer of what I've read since, because it's been a good chunk of time. But in a small to dip my toe back in just a little bit, we're going to talk about this. Punisher Max Complete Collection, Volume 5. Um, it includes a graphic novel I already had called, or a limited series in Punisher Max called Girls in White Dresses. Not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about mainly the couple of one shots that are in here that I read, um, and my thoughts on them compared to what is the masterclass run from Garth Ennis. So, um, yeah, that's the plan today. We actually have plans today. Sometimes I have a general idea, but not a plan. Big difference, big difference. Howdy, Calvary Collective. Welcome, welcome. I am having a better start than usual today. I'm more upbeat. If you listen to yesterday's Cody Coffee and Comics or Triple C stream, because I'm always going to get those out of order, aren't I? Definitely lower energy. But it was a tougher topic. This one you think would be tough, but I can only smirk at this one. Um, and thanks for being such a dope and positive influence. Oh, maybe sometimes I should finish reading comments before I comment on it, because that is thank you. I try to be. I try to be. I try to as I've said before, and this cuts into the first topic, so why not? Time is not an enemy so much. Just like death isn't quite an enemy. It's a subtle reminder that near everything has value, and that you really need to choose wisely where you are spending time, because you're not getting it back. Some folks, and we'll go into this drama here, right here. There's a couple reasons why, from what I've seen over the last few years, being where I am in indie comics, which again, as you said, I try to be a dope and positive influence. Um, is that my table's always been open to everyone. Um, if you're running at me with a flag, trying to force a flag on me, or trying to force a flag on others, my table's it's not there. But if you fly a flag and you're willing to come over and leave that there for a bit and come and say howdy to what I'm doing and the folks around me, that's golden. I love that. And the vast majority, the very vast majority, are totally cool with that. And I've been very again blessed to be able to provide that. I have seen that having a table there will put two very polar opposite kinds of personalities and belief systems. It'll allow them to meet, and sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not such a good thing. Uh, but that possibility exists there, and I think that's always a good thing. Um, so, anywho, throughout that, being where I've been, seeing what I've seen, um, drama tends to kick up for a couple reasons. Um, there is interpersonal drama, which was this most recent bit between one creator I really respect and another I've gotten vibes from, but I respect the work they've been able to do. Um, but I wouldn't want to be a friend with. Uh, a peer, I'm happy to be, but less so now. Um, there's the interpersonal stuff where these people are dealing with each other as friends, or at least close acquaintances, or maybe respectful peers in the medium doing similar work. And there's a personal connection there beyond the work, and then something within the work causes that split. I've seen that many times. This most recent bit is that, as far as I can tell. Um, and a thing you will notice with, I mean, it's any art, I'm sure, but comics, um, particularly creator-owned comics, um, the personal investment within the work, and it could be the literal investment within the work as well. Um, there's an extra layer when something is perceived as opposing that, especially when it was something that perhaps was sharing in its growth. Um, and yeah, people can be petty, like crazy petty. I lose so much respect when I see that, but I try to be exceedingly empathetic. So if I can at least see why they're being petty, it helps me not, completely lose respect. I understand people are flawed. Nobody's going to rise to every occasion and be the better man, or better lady. Though, to be honest, most of the drama I've seen in comics has been from men. At least indie comics and creator-owned comics. Like most of the serious, crazy-ass drama. Um, well, serious crazy ass. Okay, that's not fair. Most of the stuff that spills over for days and days has been men, um, by far. Now that's probably because the percentage of male creators to female creators, particularly in the networking um, and writer aspect, is where I mostly see it. Like artists are much less likely to go at each other. An artist and a writer, yeah. If there's a writer involved, yeah. But writer stuff, I've seen a lot more drama. I've also seen the drama between um, like actual teams that have been creating stuff, and it's the writer artist who have some kind of division in there. Um, I've seen people just get past it. Um, for one reason or another, and like get work where they probably shouldn't keep getting work with how that last business interaction went. It's crazy. It's crazy what comics are. Um, it's what, it's exciting for me because I love chaos, simply because chaos means potential to me. It means opportunity. But for some folks can't let things go, and I again, empathetic. I understand in a lot of cases why they can't. I understand a lot of cases why they can't just move past it. But man, the more petty the argument, no matter how personally invested everybody within it is, the more tedious it is for me because it makes my job harder. I'm gonna be selfish in that case. I provide this table, and trying and doing that work, I keep coming across that stuff, over a matter of days. Um, it's annoying. It is so annoying. Um, especially when you're looking at it, it's like it doesn't matter. It's just frustrating, right? Um, and I've seen the worst drama, and this is like the actual like ah, they would say it's not harassment. In fact, they did during this period. It was about 2019, 2018, 2019. Um, I think maybe even late 2019, where it was straight up just like dirty ass internet warfare. What they call, I don't even want to use that term. I hate that term. Um, Not internet warfare, the other term I was gonna use. But targeted harassment. It's the best way to put it. There's no other way to put it. And and that was when a large group had a militant faction. It had one that was actively harassing and enforcing grudges and all kinds of other shit. Now again, luckily, uh, the table I provide has continuously been respected, even when I've had my own fuck ups. Um, I don't know why, um, but I am very happy it has been, and I'm very proud it has been. Uh, but then, man, I didn't need to be reminded of some of the harder times out there. So most people blame it on quote unquote Twitter, right? Most people will blame it specifically on the platform, and it's not the platform; it's the people. Tools are only as good or as bad as the people using them. It's an inanimate object; it does nothing without investment. So I can't blame the platform. It can be designed in a way to it can be the wrong tool for the job that's needed, and it's still the tool you're using, right? I get it, but you're still choosing to use that tool. Um, Man, just looking at it, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. This particular instance is the same kind of instance I've seen before. Back when, and talk specifically about it. Kind of towards CG's beginning, there was a poster being done that included quite a few different creators and their creations on it. And that just stirred up all kinds of drama. People not being included, people being included, that shit, and all that crap. Um, any kind. So basically, what I've seen, and this is actually more towards that anti-mainstream bit of indie comics. Uh, Very insecure. And so when you're getting that much insecurity and you put it together into like a bundle that's supposed to reinforce that security, it's supposed to be some kind of collaborative. If it, I've seen the other spectrum do tons of anthologies, and I can't even say any drama I've come across from the other side, the more pro mainstream, pro system. Um, Set of indie comics. Like they put out anthologies as like a matter of course, and it'll have a bunch of different creators, and it'll be something amazing. I've worked in one that it wasn't even anti. I would say it's kind of middle ground, which is what I usually do. That was wonderful. It was short stories paired to images. Nobody was getting paid, but it was just fun to get our work out and published. That was a wonderful experience, and I don't remember any drama in that. But like I've seen time and time again, and when I had started and I was more naive, I was all for it. I was like, oh, cool, let's do something cool together. Um, Pump out work for that. Uh, Naive work, but work. And of course, none of that ever saw the light of day. I still have the scripts and all that kind of stuff. But the more people involved, the more egos involved. Um, and people say egos. It's personal investment in art. If you don't have a personal investment in your art, then it's likely not that good. So, at that base level, just I get it. I get it. I get it. You pour your soul into it. Some folks are more honest about doing that. Some folks are more able to do that. But nonetheless, you're putting a piece of you on the line. The size of that piece varies, but uh, good work is doing that, and even bad work can be doing that. Um, so I always keep that in mind. There was another bit like that that I saw in a Discord chat for a digital comics platform I adore. That was somebody who asked for criticism, and then when they received it, their heart was broken, and they were not like sad and acknowledging it that needed cheering up. No, they were arrogant and angry about it. They threw up the defense shields. Is the best way to put it. Um, that's what I see a lot in a lot of comic creator drama is two personalities throwing up defense shields and then slamming against each other and then getting pissed that neither one is breaking. And it's just like in this business and particularly in a public forum via text and even like there's plenty of drama live streams. They're always a mess. So that doesn't help at all. But in a public forum, decorum is paramount. Uh, if it, I've been broken many times in many different ways through comics, and I am always attempting to be honest and forthcoming with it, but never once has it been targeted at another individual. I don't look, I look at conflict as a personal mistake. Um, there's rarely any reason for it. If there is reason for it, it's a big difference. But again, that personal investment tends to be the reason for it in comics. And I just recommend if you are doing this that you understand that personal investment is always a two-way street, especially if there's some disagreement. And if you understand that, unless you're trying to, and this is the second type, which fuck, I don't even know how long ago I was talking about that, but there's a couple types of this drama. The second type of drama is the forced, which is some of it is that attacks, which I also spoke about with that militant faction. But then uh, there's the other kind of forced where it keeps you relevant. It's against an idea, and then you paint people under that banner, even if they're individual people. And then you relentlessly attack them as figureheads of that. And we'll see that both ways, whatever. But the more aggression I see, the less likely I'm to believe anybody's a victim in it. Um, and that will garner personal support that will trickle down to your work. I've seen that many times. Um, it's not always I mean, it's super effective if it's something that you're capable of doing, is the best way to say it. I'm not. Um, and I see a lot of folks who say that they aren't capable or they don't want to be doing it, and then they're like, screw it. Fine, be you. I don't want you to be anything else. But don't be a hypocrite. Uh, if you are one, fine. But, you know, again, that's one of those bits where my respect is going to go down a notch. Um, and maybe even purely on selfish terms, because then I can't trust your actions and therefore I can't act accordingly and with faith. I have to act tentatively and with caution. And that's no fun for anybody. Um, I mean, I was kicked real hard, really fucking hard, with an interpersonal connection that I was happy to platform and promote. That was a terrible mistake of mine, just awful. Almost to the point where I was like, yeah, if this can happen, then is what I'm doing, is providing this table, is doing this work, doing more good than harm. And I never questioned that before, never. It was obvious that I was doing far more good. Um, my goal here is to leave this place better than I found it. It will always be that. And I've had to realize that, I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes, and that others are human and they're gonna make mistakes. And I've never had a problem with that. I've never had a problem forgiving and such. Um, Understanding, right? Others. Myself, different story. I hold myself to a higher standard than I'd ever hold anyone else to. It's not fair to hold somebody else whose life I could not possibly understand in any relevant form. Um, but me, I'm the only one who understands me, so I can judge me as harshly as I want. I shouldn't, but I can. Um, so that's where I come from in any of this, is that this is if there's a failure to communicate, it's on both parties always. Um, and man, just I would love it if you could keep it off my feed. And so what ends up happening is I have to find a way to keep it off my feed. Um, which sucks again because I try to provide the widest possible table in indie comics. I want everybody to have the most potential they can have. I want them to be able to meet the folks they need to meet, to interact with the folks they need to interact with, to create the art that we need to have created. Um, and if I can provide some small conduit for that, then I'm doing my job. And it sucks when I have to close off certain sections of that conduit. And I'm sure many other people are going to be less vocal about it than I'm being right now, and they just closed off. And the second it's closed off, man, there's infinite potential lost. And that sucks. That sucks so bad. Um, but if you're an asshole, if you're persistent, if you're rude, if you're arrogant and self-important, I really don't have time to feed your ego. And I really wish other parties would realize that as well. Giving them time, giving them attention is feeding their ego. It's justifying their actions. You know, that's a huge problem with like society in general, where we're happy to do that because it's fun to watch trash fires. Lots of interesting smells, lots of pretty colors. And at the end of the day, it's a waste of time. And that's drama. That's drama. If you have any questions, comments on it, let me know. Totally fine. I just had to get that out of my system because watching it for now is 2 days going on when one party is trying to give excuses on why they continue, and then the other party is relentlessly attacking, um, and also trying to give excuses on why they continue. It's just depressing. But people are gonna people. Again, people are gonna people. So if I have to, I will close off the table where I need to, and I already had to take one of those steps. I don't really want to take another. But if it continues throughout today and tomorrow, I'm probably going to have to. The hypocrisy is mad. Yes, my God. Um, I ended up telling the party I kind of respect, except when this shit happens, be like, water, just let it go, let it flow, man. Nobody's gonna get hurt there. But this again, it's traced to this personal investment. It's traced to maybe a friendship that is damaged. Um, on multiple fronts from what I can see. And then I saw another party, and it's just again, it's maddening. It's crazy. And again, the hypocrisy. It's absolute insanity. But what are we gonna do? I can only be the best me I can be, and part of my standards for myself is again to do more good than harm. I have no personal investment in trying to prove anybody right or wrong, ever. Um, my personal investment is to learn to improve myself and acknowledge my weaknesses, try and build upon those and build upon my strengths and again, leave this place better than I found it. That's all I can do here. And then if I get another go around, I get another cycle, wonderful. If it's pure darkness, I still brought a little light. If it's I get kicked down under. Uh, to some bit at least, it'll, I'll have some light to have shown for the sacrifice. Um, all right, nonetheless, let's move on to this mediocre at best Punisher, and that pretty much sums it all up. Goodbye, folks. No, it really does though. it's. So, folks know, likely know, I'm not too quiet about it. Huge Garth Ennis fan, particularly his Punisher Max series, which got me 100% invested in comics. Garth Ennis and Clayton Crane's Ghost Rider Road to Damnation and The Trail of Tears, but primarily Road to Damnation, showed me comics I wanted that I didn't even know existed. And then that's when I was like, oh, you can do all kinds of amazing things in comics. And then that's when I was hooked on the medium. Then I saw The Punisher and always been an action movie fan, all of that. But then Garth Ennis' take in Max on how he portrayed Frank gave him such a soul. Um, Almost on the level of what I'd later read, on Berserk, in terms of a character just so damaged and still carrying forward with something for whatever reason. Guts, I think, handles it in a more inspirational level. Frank's more of a tragic tale that has a little bit of good in there. Guts is like everything. The worst has happened to Guts, and he gets up anyway and walks forward anyway. Like, that's amazing. Frank is like, yeah, he lost everything, but he's still a sociopathic murderer. He's got empathy, so he's not 100% sociopathic, but he has very specific empathy. It's the best way to put it. So I picked this up. They're getting super expensive because they're never going to reprint Max. They don't like Frank. They want him to disappear, or at the very least, they want to quote unquote reclaim him. He's in the zeitgeist as he is. You created this monster. Uh, but so this follows, like, Garth Ennis did a huge, amazing run on it, wonderful arc, all of that. This kind of tacks onto it to kind of keep it breathing for a while, and then Jason Aaron got to finish it, and Jason Aaron did a fine job. It's not amazing, but it was much better than this. So this is like a collection of the one shots I didn't have. Let me see what they're called. Yeah, I know, just so let me elaborate on why it's mediocre. So this is Punisher Max Annual from 2007, Punisher Force of Nature, Punisher Max Little Black Book, um, Girls in White Dresses, which was also mediocre to be fair, um, 6 Hours to Kill, which is what I'm reading right now, and it's mediocre. Welcome to the Bayou, I've heard good things about, so I haven't read that yet. I'm not going to comment on that. And then there's Punisher number 75, apparently, which is a bunch of one-shots, it looks like. A bunch of small one-shots. Yeah, it's like 5 in one issue, so I'm assuming they're very short. Um, so the annual, it's fine. The art's fine. It does what a lot of Punisher Max does, which is tell the story from the criminal's perspective so that it feels more like a slasher flick almost, with Frank being the big bad, right? It was fine art. Again, it's mediocre. It didn't have any, like, there was no. It's not clever, I guess is what I mean. When Punisher Max is bad, it's never terrible. Um, it's bad or mediocre. It's because it has nothing clever to it. It's exactly what I expect. There's like they don't use the gore in any clever way. They don't use the sex in any clever way. They don't use Frank in any clever way. Um, and so you know what's going to happen. There's some bad guys that are going to make them really bad. Frank's going to kill them. And if that's all I'm getting out of a Punisher story, you're wasting so much potential. And a lot of this so far has been wasted potential. Like 6 Hours to Kill, so far, I was really hoping to kind of feel like Frank, the Punisher meets Crank, if people remember that film. Or it's just a lot of adrenaline and he's trying to move quick and it's this old man and no. There's a ticking clock in the background, but it feels terribly irrelevant. again, that first story where you're following it from the criminals, you don't. There's no personality to the criminals, which Ennis was exceedingly great at doing. Every villain in his run of Max has personality, has flavor, has colors to them. These guys, here is generic street villain number one bleeding out for a little bit. Oh, he left his buddy behind. Well, I wasn't invested in his buddy anyway, so and we know these are bad people. Like again, it's mediocre. I'm slogging through it, and it sucks because what I've been trying to do lately, especially with returning to my roots of making comics, is returning to my roots of reading comics. And I was like, this is New Punisher Max. It's a little expensive to get a hold of any of it anymore, but I'll put a little bit down to have these one shots I already have, and I can re-gift Girls in White Dresses, right? Totally cool with me. But it's just so bland. There's no flavor to it, and sucks. Girls in White Dresses was fine. Like I think it's probably the best arc in here that I've read. Again, I haven't read Welcome to the Bayou. I've heard good things about that, so I'm hopeful it's like really good and makes it worth slogging through. But again, it's just sex traffickers, and I'm always happy to see those fuckers get murdered. Like that's one of my dirty pleasures in Punisher. It's nothing compared to his Ennis's run called The Slavers. It's nothing compared to that. That is a just so much flavor in dealing with that, and so much Schadenfreude and Schadenfreude is the best I can say. It's just so much Schadenfreude. Like you are just so happy to watch these pieces of shit get what they deserve from the monster that is Frank Castle. Um, this doesn't have that. Like I don't feel like these are the worst guys ever, and they don't have to be for Frank, right? But they should have some personality. Then you should be engaged somehow so that you're invested in their death. Um, one of the shorts in here is three guys stuck on a life raft. Frank gets them stuck on a life raft, and then he gets them to turn on each other, and then they kill each other, and then he kills the last one, right? Um, that one was kind of fun because it was all based on their personality, and they don't know the Punishers did this to them really, and then they kind of unravel this secret because they're all working in the same organization. They all know they're working in the same organization, but they're not supposed to know they're all three working together, so they don't know specifics of what each person does. And so Frank's plays that against each other, and he tortures them for a while out on a raft. Um, that was the most interesting of the one shots. It was fine. The artwork hasn't been bad. It's really heavily inked. It's nothing like Goran Parlov's work, which I really like, which is kind of sketchy but a lot of attitude. It's nothing like Steve Dillon, which is a lot of emotional resonance, even though he has same face syndrome. It's nothing like uh, Leandro Fernandez, who is able to put that heavy inked grime to great use in terms of mood, right? Um, like this. Like I don't like Frank in that. Like it's fine. It's Frank in a scuba suit. Like it's fine, but I don't know. So I don't recommend spending like the $60 or whatever I paid to pick this up. Like from a monetary value. I don't recommend it from a collector's value as they're coming up. Totally worth it, especially if you love Punisher Max and you want to have all of it before it is just crazy expensive to get a hold of. Like I got all the trades there for $10 way back when, like ten years ago, and no way you're doing that now. Um, and I just wanted the whole run. Like trying to get a hold of Punisher Soviet now, which came out relatively recently. Very small print run for a comic with such a iconic brand and writer. Um, I'm still hoping I can get a hold of a cheap copy of that, even if it's a little scuffed or what have you. Because again, I want to collect all Punisher Max. I just it's the series that got me invested in what comics can be. Um, but yeah, so far I wouldn't quite. I mean, there's some sexy chicks, um, as usual, as you kind of expect. The bad girls. Uh, Girls in white dresses is depressing, as you would expect from a sex slaver story. Again, none of the art's bad. It just leans heavy on that really heavily inked look. 6 hours to kill isn't great so far. It might pull it together in the end. I'm like halfway through it, I think. Um, but it doesn't have it doesn't pay off on the concept so far. Um, a lot of meandering around for having only 6 hours left to live. It's kind of bothersome. Um, and that's another one that was sex slavers too. It's just like a governmentally sanctioned one, and by what I mean there is like it's the mayor and the city council that's been skimming off the top of that operation out of an orphanage. Um, like it's horrible shit. You want Frank to end it, and he does. It's like what the first chapter's about is just that, and then it's the fallout that oh no, he could know that we were running this, and then he gets injected with this thing, and then they want him to kill one aspect of it, which he didn't even know about. And then the other aspects like shit in their pants, hoping that he dies before they get that. It's not what I want from Punisher Max, but it's fine. Again, it's mediocre. Um, it sucks. The potential in this series I've seen again and again. There's infinite potential, but maybe it's the potential in that specific writer and artists that he works with more than the label. And that's probably the problem. But that's kind of what I got to say on this. I got to get a hold of Volume 7 as well because it contains other stuff I do not have. But that one is now like $130 to get a hold of. So that sucks. Uh, I'm not getting a hold of that for a good amount of time. That's a good chunk of a new page for Jack. So that's not likely. But yeah, that kind of covers both the topics I wanted to hit today. Folks have any comments on either, please let me know, as always. I know Punisher Max is beloved for a reason, because I fucking love it. If you like those runs, please let me know. I don't think they're even close to as good as the Ennis, but if you think so, I would love to hear why, because I am always open to changing my mind or seeing something at least in a different light. Um, well, let's see what you say. Did you read The Trial of the Punisher by Guggenheim and Francis Yu? It wasn't great, but really nailed the character. I trial. I doubtful. I don't remember reading a trial of Frank's scene um, or concept in anything. There's possible. It's possible, but not sure. If it was not in Max, there's a good chance I haven't. I've got like 80% of the original Unlimited series. Started with Mike Barron, Chuck Dixon did some. Got a good chunk of that, which is just very campy 80s action movie stuff, which is fun. I would say it's better than this, actually. And then I've got all Welcome Back Frank, and then a huge chunk of the Unlimited series that followed back that 1 through 12 maxi series. Um, and I don't think it was in that, or if it was, it's probably a good chunk of what I'm missing. I don't have a, all of that. Like, I have like 30, 35 issues of that series that followed Welcome Back, Frank, and it skips, it jumps all over. Like it's not sequential. Um, but I do have all Welcome Back, Frank, and that's so fun. Again, it's Ennis though, so. um, Yeah, no, I don't think I have read that. I don't think so. And you always follow creators, not characters, except Moon Knight. You always buy Moon Knight. I've heard a lot of good things about Moon Knight. Um, Specifically, different creative teams that have done him really well. Um, Interesting character. Interesting character. The design's cool. I have the short crossover he did with Frank from that Unlimited Punisher run, or I guess it was Mark Moon Knight, Mark Spector Moon Knight or whatever. His run that was going on during that run, and they were fun. They were fun. Um, I never got invested like heavily into my street level heroes have always been Daredevil and Frank. Some people can consider Ghost Rider that as well, but he's kind of all over the place. I'd say he's more occult mystic, which then Doctor Strange would fall into that for me. But in terms of like Marvel street level heroes and even DC street level heroes, it's been Punisher and Daredevil. I'm a huge Daredevil fan. What you can do with that character in terms of writing is just lovely. The amount of depth that you can put into sensation on Daredevil is just it's just so fun to read, and because it feeds your imagination so strongly. That's why I love Daredevil as a character so much. Besides the fact he's super tragic and still can have that grit to him and all that. Um, uh, and then like outside of Marvel, little bit invested in Batman, but never in like a run. Usually the self-contained stories like Long Halloween, um, Serious House and Serious Earth. Um, was it Dark Victory, which I think is the sequel to Long Halloween. Um, Death in the Family I read, and then Red Hood just to kind of see how that felt. And Red Hood's kind of a disappointment. They just wanted to put a Ninja Punisher into DC, and that's fine. Um, didn't actually read Hush, which is kind of the bridge between those. I started Hush, never finished it. Artwork's great. The writing was a little slow for me, so I just never finished it. Um, but yeah, street level stuff is usually what I enjoy, but kind of specific street level stuff. And I know Mark Spector kind of can do occult as well, if I remember right. But yeah, Moon Knight just like he's crossed my path many times, just never like hooked me. Watched a great comics tropes video about him, and I gained a greater respect for what was done. Especially seeing like early Bill Sienkiewicz art on Moon Knight is crazy because of how like more classical comic book style it looked. And I'm so used to Sienkiewicz having this crazy ethereal dream state like renderings in any of his work, from the grounded stuff to the more cosmic to the more like idea stuff. I'm really used to Sienkiewicz having that crazy style. That's very much his. Um, but seeing like classic comic art was kind of crazy because it's really good too. It was just very straightforward, almost Neil Adams kind of feel to it. It was crazy. I love that he had grown from that, and it's like this is my style, and then he leaned so heavily into it, and it was such a brave choice. Very cool. I had no idea, and that's one of the things Moon Knight showed me. But yeah, did not get into Moon Knight so much. But okay, folks, let me see. I got a little bit more time if anybody has any questions or something they want to talk about. I'll give it a couple minutes, but then I think I'm out. I talked as much as I wanted about drama. Um, I just had to put the point out there because I'm so tired. I'm so tired, and it's very difficult to continue doing my work when I got to come across that, and with the work I want to do, it strains that very specific work, and it sucks. And then I talked about that Volume 5, the complete collection, Punisher Max. Eh, so far, again, I'm hopeful for Welcome to the Bayou, but eh. The Charlie Houston, David Finch run is what hooked me on Moon Knight, but the Doug Sienkiewicz run is probably the best. Gotcha. Yeah, it's that run I was talking about. That was Doug Mainch, maybe? I don't know how to pronounce that last name. But somehow I know the Polish last name. So I'll take it. Um, the Charlie Houston David Fincher. Is that the one where he's got like multiple forms? He's got one where he's like in the suit and then he has his Horus mask or whatever his god is called, the bird god. Um, and then that's like one personality, and then he's got another one where he's got like this occult kind of armor feel to him, and then there's another one where he's, the Moon Knight we kind of expect. Um, is that the run that you're talking about? That's your favorite? I could be wrong. Again, this is all coming from that one comic strips video, so I can't. But I do remember the Sienkiewicz. Just again, mainly because I love Sienkiewicz's art and the fact that he did like more classical work. It blew my mind. Uh, yeah, Yeah, folks, looks like this actually got more views as I expected by putting drama in the title. That was okay. To be fair, some of some of the reason I did the stream was just to see if that little bit of feeder, that little bit of bait would actually work. And God, it seems to, and that bugs me. Um, but I'll take it. I'll take it. A little bit here and there, I guess, isn't the end of the world, especially since I ain't tearing at specifics. Most people know what I'm talking about if they follow my work. I'm guessing they follow these other folks' work, and that's part of my problem with it. Is I focus on the comics. If you're focusing on the business, you're gonna have a lot more trouble. But I'm happy to help with the business where I know. But keep in mind where I am in the business. So grain of salt with anything I say, but that should be anybody you talk to, whether they're amazing or terrible. Grain of salt. Try and glean something important from it, but don't take it as any kind of gospel. Yeah, exactly. Drama with an exclamation point. That was the hook. That was the bait. And I guess it kind of worked a little bit. Also, could be the day, could be the time, right? It's not like I'm breaking the bank on viewers. It's not like this is an incredible explosion compared to what I usually do, but people are actually here from what I can see in the numbers, which is funny. Uh, Nonetheless, folks, I think I've done what I can. Coffee's cold now. Um, Sounds like you should check out some Moon Knight. Sounds like I should check out some Moon Knight. I recommend reading Garth Ennis's run of Punisher. Always will. If that's the kind of comic you want. It's like recommending Berserk. It's a masterpiece, but it won't be for a lot of people. If it resonates with you, it's going to resonate with you very, very strongly. If it doesn't, you're going to be disgusted and hate it and think that this medium is foul. Um, and that's fine. I get it. I totally get it because this medium can be exceedingly foul, as the other half of the stream was talking about. Uh, but otherwise, just keep reading, supporting comics. I guess I'll do the last thing, though anybody watching this is already aware and probably already signed up. But we'll show anyway. We'll show anyway, just to go through the ritual, the motion, put that energy out there. Um, boom. Oh, howdy, Booked Panic. I'm glad you did too. I was just closing it out a little bit. I hope you caught it a little bit before. If not, apologies. And if it's mislabeled, apologies too. I know on Twitch, like, I can change the subject. Yeah, see, it says it's a vampire survival stream or survivor stream. That bugs me. And like I've changed it in here before and just put it as just chatting, which is what we're doing here. And it'll change it then, and then when it finishes the stream, it'll change it back, and then I gotta go back in on the replay and then edit it again to just chatting. Bugs me with Twitch. It should put like nothing if you haven't specifically said it, but it thinks you're gonna be playing the same game and again and again. I'm assuming for a lot of streamers that is what they do, and it's helpful, right? It's something they don't have to do. So I'm complaining for nothing. It's a helpful feature for probably most of the users on the platform. Oh, well, good. I'm glad you did catch most of it, if not all of it. Thank you so much, by the way, spending your time here. I know it's not, yeah, I don't know. And I just hope you got some good out of it. Um, so good. I can switch that up real quick. And then I'm just going to show the book off again because I'm very proud of our work. Boom, 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 boom. And if you haven't signed up, all that. So we're not looking at this page, even though that's what we're looking at. We're not looking at it. Um, we launch next week. I'm unsure what I want to do for a pre-launch bonus. Um, Originally, I wanted to do a cheaper tier, maybe, but that might not allow it to fund, right? That was part of the issue last one where we funded, but I put things a little cheaper than I should have. Um, so this goal, I tried to get the logistics a little, or this time, I tried to get the logistics tighter because I can't take the hit if we fund and I misbudgeted. Like I did last time, which I mean, some of it was Corona changed some dynamics, and there's a lot of weird stuff, but that honestly shouldn't happen again. But nonetheless, Yeah, I am still launching this month. Again, next week is most likely the main thing that's hindering it is I'm hoping I get the preview acrylic statuette in. Though it's very possible it won't be until like halfway through the campaign from what their estimates were giving me, which bugs the hell out of me, but we'll see. It did already ship, so it should be here sooner than they said, but I have no idea. They said 4 to 5 weeks, and that's insane. Um, and I want to make a upbeat, enthusiastic campaign video, and most of these days, I have not had that upbeat, enthusiastic mood. If you had seen yesterday's stream, that's the main mood I've been in. Today, coffee actually did its job, and I had something to kind of smirk and laugh at. So, made this one a little bit better energy to it. But yeah, be launching next week, hopefully, if everything comes together. Got to double check some stuff and again make that campaign video. If I'm gonna do it, it needs to probably be made today, tomorrow, or Friday. So I'll know pretty quick if I'm launching next week or not. Got a massive campaign goal, so we're gonna need all the help we can get. Um, I talked yesterday about the hesitancy and trepidation staring over the edge of launching this thing. So if you're interested on why I know we need a bunch of help, watch yesterday's stream. Um, because it has all the elements, right? Like we're covered on the artistic end, and we always have been. Um, the writing end, I think, has been compelling, if not polished. I've tried different forms of it. This one, I think I've nailed what I want to hit. Um, so we'll see if we can make it, man. Whew. I've revealed the first 5 pages, first 4 pages publicly, and then of course I showed page 5 yesterday, and I've been showing all that stuff. If you're on our Patreon, you've seen them for weeks at this point. Um, Excellent stuff. That's what I could get done, what I could afford this go. So that's what I did. Um, I mean, we're going in best we can. I think the campaign page looks pretty good. I don't know if we'll pick up a bunch of new folks, and that's the problem because we actually need to pick up like at least 50 new folks, and that's if we retained all the previous folks, which I can guarantee we did not. Um, the uh, the hope is that I can confirm that we have a couple hundred previous issues to also sell on this, because I think a lot of that helps with new folks wanting to dive in, right? Um, Folks can read issue 1 already for free on Global Comics, so that's no problem. That's been our MO since we first began. Is at least you can read issue number 1 to see if it's something you're interested in. People can directly buy issue 1 and 2 from Wicked Publishing right now as well, so I'm happy to point them that way. Issue 3 has been weird. My communications on that with Wicked have been weird, which is odd because I would think they'd want to sell the physicals, but they've been hesitant, which means maybe they want me to try and sell those physicals that we already have through here, which would be great. I'd like to do that. So that's another thing I have to solidify before launch next week, but all of that should be doable. Um, and if we can, that's another little ace in the hole, and that would help shore up the possibility of reaching this relatively insane number. We've reached just above that before, so it's not impossible, but different circumstances, different timings, and who really knows? Who really knows? Um, uh, so far, these are the current options, but again, there might be another one that's an issue 1 through 4. The digital bundle was easy, but like a 1 through 4 that's this and it's just a little bit more expensive is likely to show up if I can confirm we have those issues. As of a couple days ago, literally Monday, we were 100% fulfilled on every bit of the previous campaign, so I can put that behind me. And it was very rough for many reasons. A lot of hard work to get done during a time I was not ready to get any hard work done. But did it. It just took far longer than it could have, but probably as long as it needed to for me. So I hope folks understand that. But if they don't, I get it. I totally get it. Um, you'll need a catch-up bundle. Gotcha, gotcha. Well, right now, again, you can check out IronVerseComics.com. You go right here to this Wicked Comics link, and you can buy 1 and 2 physically if that's your bag. You can get 1 through 3 digitally if that's your bag. They raised their prices on their digital comics recently, which that was an agreement between most of the, that was a majority agreement between the creators under them. So I'm totally fine with that. But for me, I like dollar digitals. So if you want dollar digitals, you can go to our Patreon right here. Go ahead and give us $1 for the month, and then you can go ahead and right away cancel your sub if you don't want to continue to support us at $1 a month and get all the excess stuff. But right here, first link you got, you can go and download our 3 issues digitally. Um, if you want all 3 physically, again, you can get 1 and 2 currently through here, or if you're going to help us here, uh, at the very least, I can promise you can get 1 through 3 as physical copies that are of a misprint variety. Which by misprint, I explain all of that right here in this vid, which is up on the channel as well. Just look up misprints for days in my YouTube channel, and you can watch it now. Um, it shows kind of what happened. The colors changed just slightly, and then halfway through the book, it caught the rollers in a weird way. So there's a lines through through one of the bottom panels. Some of them are near imperceptible, some of them not so much. And the lettering can be slightly foggy, slightly, but again, it doesn't. They're all readable, right? It's just not the optimal HD, beautiful experience that we needed to provide to our backers. So I ended up having to negotiate with that printer for a while, and I'm so glad I had the right person in at that printer to help me figure that out. Um, and we got those in, and we got a new printing, and we were supposed to send the previous printing back, and due to a bunch of stupidity on the shipping folks bit, we got to keep the misprint books. So we got like 1,500 issues of Jack Irons that we'd love to offload to people who just want to read them. So that's for sure definitely going to be on the campaign. That's a guaranteed way you can at least read all of them. Um, but hopefully we should have like at least 100 of each printing from the last campaign, the primo printings, the nice printings left. And if Wicked's cool with me offloading those, which kind of last time I spoke to him, it kind of sounded like they did, but I want to confirm it. I want it like solid. Then those will also be up on the campaign. So plenty of options to jump into our little Galactic Armageddon, and I'm so happy you're interested. These are our 3 lovely pinups from incredible independent talent, which I try to do every go. I showed you those folks on that specific stream. We're going to be doing these figures again. Last time I'm doing them, I'm going to do them a lot quicker this go, I think. Be a little less stupid with them, especially since now I've done it before and there's not so much fear in it. Um, and yeah, it'll cover it. Um, thank you folks for joining me. I think that's probably gonna cover it. I don't know. Oh, wrong one. Whoop, that one. There we go. Um, let me see. There we go. Let me see something real quick, and then I'll probably sign out. Let me just check something. Yeah, that is it. So nothing big. Just a fella who posts some amazing art and tags me in it. Always happy about that. Okie doke. Well then, folks. Thank you again for joining me. I keep this stream a little bit shorter than some of them, and that's fine with me. Maybe it's more likely to be consumed, which is always fun. Um, do all the stuff if you haven't done the stuff, but I expect if you're here, you've done the stuff, which I mean, like, follow, subscribe, check out our work, all that good stuff. All our links on IronVerseComics.com. And catch you later on that rusty trail, folks. Take care, and thank you very much.